This is a lesson about job interviews. An interview is a verbal exchange of question and answer between two or more persons. It can either be formal or informal and done for the purpose of gathering valid and reliable information. Here are the characteristics of an interview. It has specific goals. Reasons for conducting an interview vary. It is done to get information, to give information, to convince or persuade another person, or to resolve a certain problem or issue. Two people are involved. Normally, an interview is conducted in a dyad, a one-on-one conversation with two participants, but other interviews involve several participants. Each person has a different role. The people involved in an interview have their specific roles to play. In a dyad, the role must have specific participants. First, an interviewer. The person who plans the meeting sets goals, asks the questions, and generally controls the direction of the conversation. The second is the interviewee. The person who answers the questions, provides information, and helps achieve the goals of the meeting. Time and place are set in advance. The interview must be set through an appointment so as to give time for both participants to prepare. The interviewee needs to have the documents for the interview and must be ready to be interviewed. On the other hand, the interviewer needs to make sure that the questions he or she will ask determine the best applicant for the vacant position. Often, the interview takes place in the office of the interviewer. There is a consideration in the physical setting, such as the seating arrangement, lighting, and the distance between the participants, so to achieve a positive atmosphere during the interview. Here are the types of interview. Employment interview. An employment or job interview is the first step if one would like to enter the job market. As an applicant, he or she will be considered as the interviewee or the person being interviewed, and the person who will conduct the interview is the interviewer, who is the personnel director, an HR manager, or even the prospective boss. In the workplace, interviews have a wide variety of business purposes, ranging from information seeking to employee evaluation. From speaking to job applicants to explaining the company's policy. During the interview, the employer gives the applicant a chance to showcase his or her qualifications through the answers to the questions, the way he or she speaks, his or her wit, educational background, skills, and performance. This would be the basis in selecting the best applicant. This type of interview can be a high-tense situation. Obviously, because the applicant's future may depend on the outcome of the interview. It is normal if one feels a little bit apprehensive. The best way to conquer this kind of feeling is to be ready both physically and mentally. Counseling interview. Sometimes it is quite normal to experience problems in the operation of the company. Seeking help from the expert, either from the supervisor or directly from the boss, is acceptable. In this kind of situation, one needs to make the situation clear, analyze the situation carefully, present the views of problems, and express his or her feelings towards the situation. This type of interview is appropriate for those who need help from the expert to get his views or opinions and the techniques in solving the problem. Evaluation or appraisal interview. Some companies conduct their annual evaluation of employees on the job performance through performance appraisal. In doing this, the employee and the direct supervisor meet to discuss how well the employee performed his or her duties, and at the same time seeks this as an opportunity to understand how the company sees the employee and his work. During the interview, topics may vary from attendance to attitude towards work and co-employees and even meeting deadlines. This interview could also serve as a venue to receive guidance, give feedbacks, review career plans and goals. Moreover, an evaluation interview is often conducted to discuss negative behaviors in the workplace that need to be addressed so that positive changes may be proposed or suggested. Moreover, an evaluation interview is often conducted to discuss negative behaviors in the workplace that need to be addressed so that positive changes may be proposed or suggested. Informational interview. If one needs an expert to seek specific information, either from various fields of work or a clarification from the persons involved, an informational interview is fitting. An appointment with the interviewee must be ensured. The interviewer must make clear his or her goal and must prepare a list of questions relevant to the expert. He or she should ask permission from the interviewee that he or she will write or record all the answers given for detailed information and request permission to quote the interviewee. The interviewee, on the other hand, has to be courteous in answering the questions so that the interviewee or interviewer will not feel intimidated and will be able to gather the information needed. Reprimand Interview. This type of interview discloses the undesirable or unbecoming behavior of an employee in the office or of students in schools. This is usually done in a closed-door setting to avoid possible embarrassment and criticism. The interviewer must establish the criticism given is about work, school performance, and is not meant to be a personal attack or to humiliate the interviewee. Words, rate, and pitch of voice must be carefully selected to avoid hurt feelings. Problem-solving interview. When a problem arises in the workplace, a problem-solving interview is best to air concerns. If one asks for this kind of interview with his or her boss, it is important to prepare the explanations of the conditions that cause anger and complaint in a professional manner. If both the interviewer and interviewee listen and are open to other opinions and suggestions, opportunities become possible. Exit interview. This is a type of an informational interview before an employee leaves the company or when a student is about to graduate or transfer to another school. In the workplace, it is usually conducted by the Human Resources Department, while in schools, by the guidance counselor. This gives employees or students an opportunity to express views about the organization or school and the working or learning conditions. The interviewee must be honest to give his views, concerns, or suggestions, but at the same time has to be careful not to be overly critical or emotional so as to make sure that the employer or the school would get a favorable impression towards him or her. Here are the keys to a successful interview. Know the details of the interview. Know the interviewer. Prepare answers to questions. Be physically ready. Be mentally prepared. Set the interview and proper perspective. Let the interviewer take the lead. Share your thoughts. Know how to divert questions. Do a follow-up. Whether the interview was successful or not, the applicant can count on the valuable experience he or she got interacting with other people. He or she may think about the questions which should have been asked and the things which should have been said clearly so as to value the experience gained and thus do better next time.